Hashtag what if we never discovered fire? You're sitting around with friends and someone asks, what single invention changed human civilization the most? Most people say the internet, some say the wheel, but they're all wrong. There's one discovery that's so fundamental, so absolutely essential to who we are as a species, that without it, you wouldn't exist. You wouldn't be human. And we're about to explore what that means. What if we never discovered fire? Now, before you think this is just some caveman in the dark story, understand this. Fire wasn't just about keeping warm. Fire was the technological singularity of the ancient world. It rewired our brains, it changed our bodies, it made us into something entirely different from every other creature on the planet. And without it, we'd still be that something else. Let's start with the most obvious problem: temperature. Our ancestors lived in Africa, where heat wasn't typically an issue. But around 1.8 million years ago, human populations started migrating north into Europe and Asia. Temperatures dropped, winters became deadly. Without fire, those migrations simply don't happen. You're stuck in Africa forever. But here's where it gets interesting. Because even staying in Africa without fire, your entire physical form changes. See, when our ancestors started cooking food around 1.9 million years ago, something remarkable happened. Our guts got smaller, our teeth got smaller, our jaws became weaker. Cooking made food easier to digest, which meant our bodies could allocate more energy to something else, our brains. Without fire, your digestive system stays massive, your teeth stay enormous, your jaw stays powerful. You're basically a stronger, more muscular version of modern humans. But there's a catch. That energy your ancestors saved from digestion, that went directly into brain development. Without fire, your brain never gets that extra fuel. You're looking at a creature that's maybe 10% less cognitively advanced than modern humans. That doesn't sound like much, but it's the difference between abstract thought and pure instinct. It's the difference between language and grunts. It's the difference between civilization and survival. So let's say somehow you're surviving without fire. Let's say you're that stronger, larger-jawed version of humanity, still migrating, still adapting. What's next? Food. Without fire, you're limited to what you can eat raw. Meat is incredibly difficult to digest without cooking. Most vegetables are harder to process. You're basically limited to fruits, some softer plants, and whatever raw meat you can consume before it rots. That means your population density is drastically lower. You need massive territories to feed yourself. Trade doesn't develop, settlements don't form. You never build anything. Here's what's genuinely fascinating, though. Some foods actually become impossible to eat without fire. Take wheat. Raw wheat seeds are nearly impossible for humans to digest. We only started eating wheat at scale after we developed cooking. Same with potatoes, rice, and corn. Every major agricultural staple on Earth relies on cooking to be edible. Without fire, agriculture as we know it never develops. You never farm, you never settle, you remain nomadic forever. And that changes everything about what you become as a species. See, agriculture isn't just about food. It's about staying in one place long enough to build. It's about having surplus that allows some people to not hunt, so they can become blacksmiths or priests or architects. Without agriculture, there's no specialization. There's no writing, because writing develops to keep track of grain stores and tax records. There's no complex government. There's no law. There's no cities. There's no history, because there's no one documenting it. You're not standing on the shoulders of giants, you're just standing. But the cognitive impact might be even more profound. Fire, you see, allowed something remarkable to happen at night. Instead of sleeping when the sun set, humans could gather around a fire and talk. For hours, all night. Anthropologists believe this is when storytelling truly developed. This is when myths were born. This is when culture emerged. Without fire, you've got maybe 4 or 5 hours of daylight to socially bond, to pass on information, to build culture. Humans are incredibly social creatures. That constraint alone changes your entire social structure. Tribes stay smaller. Knowledge doesn't spread as efficiently. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Fire changed how we cook meat. Raw meat is dangerous. It carries parasites and bacteria. Cooking kills them. Without fire, parasitic infections would be endemic. You'd be dealing with constant gut parasites. Your immune system would be perpetually fighting off infections. That's energy that's not going to cognition. That's time you're not spending on innovation. You're literally weakened by your own food source. Now let's zoom out. It's 10,000 years in the future. Humans never discovered fire. What does Earth look like? Well, you're looking at a planet where human civilization never developed past hunter-gatherer societies. You've got small tribes scattered across continents. Population is maybe a tenth of what it actually is, because you can only support so many people on hunted and gathered foods. No cities, no agriculture, no metalworking, because you literally cannot smelt metal without fire. No pottery, because you need fire to harden clay. No progress, because progress requires the ability to record information and share it across time. You don't have medicine beyond plants. You don't have weapons beyond sharpened stone. You don't have clothing made from processed materials. You're essentially frozen at a technological level that humans actually achieved around 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. And here's the deepest part. You don't have consciousness as we know it. That sounds extreme, but think about what consciousness requires. It requires self-awareness. It requires the ability to imagine futures, to plan, to think abstractly. All of those emerge from the cognitive surplus that fire gave us. Without that surplus, you're not a stupid human. You're a different kind of intelligent being altogether. Your brain would still be capable of learning, of solving problems, of using tools. But complex abstract thinking, the kind that lets you ponder your own existence, that might not emerge at all. So when we ask, what if we never discovered fire? We're not asking, what if humans were a bit worse off? We're asking, would humans exist at all? We're asking, what kind of creature would we be? And the answer is something else entirely. The wild part is that fire discovery was almost random. It probably happened when someone noticed a lightning strike, or volcanic activity. Or maybe, and this is less romantic, it was just someone experimenting with friction and rocks for long enough. But that one person, that one moment, that one discovery fundamentally altered what humanity could become. Without that spark, you're looking at a completely different branch of the evolutionary tree. Not worse, not better, just different. And maybe the real question isn't, what if we never discovered fire? Maybe it's, what else is out there that we've never discovered that could change us just as profoundly? What inventions or discoveries are we not seeing right now because we don't know to look for them? What version of human potential are we missing? That's something worth thinking about the next time you see a flame.